Scorpio Horoscope for 2017. Trends. Saturn in your money house these past 2 years has placed additional financial burdens and responsibilities on you. There's been no way you could avoid them, so there has been a feeling of financial tightness. This is not what it seems. The cosmos has been calling you to reorganize this area. Make it healthier. Manage your money and resources better. This trend continues in the year ahead. In spite of this feeling of tightness, you will end the year richer than when you began. Your financial planet, Jupiter, will move into your sign on October 11th. This begins a multi-year cycle of prosperity. More on this later. Pluto, the ruler of your horoscope, has been in your third house of communication since 2008. You have been more conservative and traditional of late, and perhaps took a lot of flack over this. It probably didn't make you popular. You have been focused on intellectual activities, writing, blogging, teaching, sales and marketing. Many of you have been taking courses in subjects that interest you. You've been exploring the intellectual world, the life of the mind. Whatever the level of your previous education, you're becoming more intellectual than usual. This trend will continue for many more years. Neptune has been in your fifth house since 2012. Your view of fun is becoming more refined and spiritualized. Spiritual forms of entertainment have become more interesting. Spiritual and inspirational films and plays are attracting you now. Children and children figures in your life are more spiritual, but in some cases this can show more involvement with drugs and alcohol. Uranus has been in your sixth house of health since 2011. He will be there for the rest of the year ahead, but is getting ready to leave in the next 2 years. This aspect indicates much experimentalism in health matters. You have been making many dramatic changes to the health regime and this is an ongoing process. More on this later. Jupiter spends most of the year in your spiritual 12th house, making it a very spiritual year. You'll discover that spiritual understanding is not just something abstract or nebulous. It has very practical, and bottom line, consequences. More on details later. Your most important interests in the year ahead are the body and image, from October 11th onwards, finance, communication and intellectual interests, children, fun and creativity, health and work, and spirituality, until October 11th. Your paths of greatest fulfillment this year are spirituality, until October 11th, the body and image, from October 11th onwards, friends, group and online activities, until April 29th, and career, from April 29th onwards. Scorpio Horoscope 2017. Health. Health looks good this year, Scorpio. There are no long-term planets in stressful alignment with you, and by the end of the year 4 long-term planets will be in harmonious aspect with you, a very good health signal. You have lots of energy. Of course, there will be periods in the year where health and energy are less easy than usual. However, these are temporary things caused by short-term transits. They're not trends for the year ahead. When the difficult transits pass, your normal health and energy return. This is good news for those of you with pre-existing conditions. They should ease up this year and not be so troublesome. In many cases there will be actual healing. Perhaps some health professional, or therapy, or medication, or supplement will get the credit, but the truth is that the cosmic energy was supporting you. Good though your health is, power in your 6th house indicates that there is great focus here. Perhaps you are overly focused, more than you need to be. You could be so focused that every little twinge or ache gets magnified beyond proportion. Most likely there is nothing to these things. The moon could be in the wrong place at the time. When she moves away, the ache disappears. Your health is good, although you can make it even better. Give more attention to the following. The vulnerable areas in your chart: the colon, bladder and sexual organs. These are always important for a Scorpio. It is important to keep the colon clean. Herbal colonics are generally good for you. Safe sex and sexual moderation are also important. Scorpio tends to overdo this area. The head, face and scalp. These are also always important for you. These areas should be regularly massaged. This will not only strengthen these areas but the whole body too. There are reflexes in these areas that help the whole body. Craniosacral therapy is a generally good therapy for Scorpio. The musculature. Muscles need to be kept in tone. A weak muscle can knock the spine and skeleton out of alignment, and this will cause hosts of other problems. Vigorous physical exercise, according to your age and stage in life, is important. The adrenals. Again, very important for you, Scorpio. Avoid anger and fear, the two emotions that stress the adrenal glands. The ankles and calves. These have only become important since 2011. Both areas should be regularly massaged as part of your normal health regime. Give the ankles more support when exercising. Uranus in your 6th house shows an affinity for alternative rather than orthodox medicine. But the new cutting-edge technologies in orthodox medicine could be alluring. You love what is new and trendy. There are many short-term trends in health. Mars, your health planet, moves fairly quickly. He changes signs and houses approximately every 45 days. These trends are best covered in the monthly reports. Finance and career. The year ahead, as we mentioned, will be prosperous. But until October 11th, you're in a preparation period. 90% of life is preparation. The actual happenings, the results, are only a small fraction of it. Jupiter, your financial planet, spends most of the year in your spiritual 12th house. This means that spiritual, interior, revelation is happening in your financial life and attitudes. Revelation is a great thing, but while it's happening it is not so pleasant. Light shining in a dark room reveals jewels and hidden treasures, but also many unpleasant things. There can be scandals involving the money people in your life. Secret machinations in your financial life or investments are going on and you'll probably find out about them. But along with this, if you're open to guidance, will be revelation on how to deal with these things. Jupiter in the 12th house shows that you are developing financial intuition this year. Intuition is always the shortcut to wealth. Generally work is involved, but intuition guides you to the fastest way. You seem more philanthropic in the year ahead. More generous. You're giving to charities and to altruistic causes. When you hear a tale of woe or a sob story, the wallet opens. Jupiter in Libra shows a good affinity for the beauty industry this year, for art, fashion, cosmetics, jewelry and antiques. These are interesting investments, either in a physical way or through buying shares in companies involved in these things. You're probably spending more on these things. This aspect of Jupiter also shows an affinity for oil, natural gas, shipping, shipbuilders, the fishing industry and industries involved with water. The most important development with Jupiter in the 12th house is learning about, and in many cases going deeper into, the spiritual dimensions of wealth. This is a year where you learn to tap into the resources of the universe, rather than just working with your own resources. More on this later. There is a danger of overspending on the home and family. This can be a stress. Saturn, as we have mentioned, is in your money house. He's been there for the past 2 years, since Christmas 2014. This is also part of the preparation that you're going through. If you're to attain the financial goals you aspire to, and they seem high, you need preparation. The intuition is getting trained, with Jupiter in your 12th house, and the financial life in general needs to be reorganized, restructured. This restructuring is almost over, but you've got a year to go. You've got to use the resources you have more effectively. In many cases assets and investments, or spending, need to be shifted around. Waste is being eliminated. A solid foundation is being built. Long-term financial plans, investment and savings plans, are being created. And, if you stick to them, wealth will be assured over the long haul. Jupiter will move into your own sign on October 11th. This is when the money starts rolling in. Financial windfalls will happen. The money people in your life will cater to you and offer you opportunities. There will be luck and speculations. Children and children figures will be financially supportive. You will dress more expensively. People will see you as someone who is prospering. You will be the money person to many others in your life. Most importantly, you will feel wealthy. Finally, when Saturn leaves your money house at the end of the year, on December 21st, the prosperity increases even further. It was all worth the wait. There are a lot of career changes happening this year. There are 2 solar eclipses and those always affect your career, company and industry. There is also a 3rd eclipse, a lunar eclipse on February 11th, that impacts on the career as it occurs in your career house. So there is a lot of drama here. I feel the changes will be good ones and the dramas will work in your favor. The moon's north node enters your 10th career house on April 29th. Home and family. The home and family arena has been turbulent for many years now. You don't seem in harmony with them, and especially with one of the parents or parent figures in your life. The good news is that things are easier than the period of 2011 to 2014. But it's still not the way it should be. The important thing with a long-term struggle is to not make things worse than they need to be. Do your best to keep negativity to the minimum. There will be negativity, there are personal and financial disagreements these days, the issue is how you handle it. There are no rules about this, only the principle of minimum negativity. Each will apply it in their own way. The financial disagreements should resolve themselves after October 11th. But the personal issues still remain. It will take much effort to maintain some semblance of harmony here. Your health is good this year as we mentioned. But family or emotional discord could affect it adversely. So maintaining as much harmony as possible is actually a health issue. If health problems arise, God forbid, restore harmony as quickly as possible. Your family planet Uranus has been in your 6th house of health since 2011, and many of the trends we've written about in previous years are still very much in effect. You're installing health equipment, health gadgets, in the home. You're getting rid of any kind of toxic materials in the home, and probably spending on this. The health of your family is a major priority. The home is becoming a health spa as much as a home. Your family planet in the 6th house also indicates someone who works from home. So home offices and perhaps home-based businesses are being set up or being expanded. Family members could also be your employees, which is another complication in your relationship. With Uranus as your family planet, you're someone who likes to upgrade the home continually. You like the modern, high-tech look. Your home is probably filled with gadgets, and when new products come on the market you're one of the first to get them. You tend to move a lot. This year though, a move doesn't seem likely. 2018 is a more likely year for this. Siblings and sibling figures are also experiencing family instability. A move though is not likely this year. There's nothing against it however, a parent or parent figure can move from October 11th onwards. There is good fortune in the purchase or sale of a home. Children and children figures in your life are having stable family years. Grandchildren, if you have them, are likely to move after October 11th. If you're planning to redecorate or to buy decorative objects for the home, January 29th to February 18th is a good time. If you're planning construction work or major repairs in the home, January 28th to March 10th is a good time for this. Love and social life. Your 7th house of love and social activities is not strong this year. It is not prominent. Only short-term, fast-moving, planets will move through there in the year ahead. This tends to the status quo. Those who are married will most likely stay married and singles will stay single. You seem more or less at ease with things as they are and have no need to make major changes, or to focus here unduly. This situation, this lull, is only temporary. Enjoy the quiet. Next year Uranus will start his move into your 7th house and by 2019 will be established there for the long haul. This is when the excitement begins. There will not be a dull moment in love for 7 more years. The whole social life will undergo dramatic change. We will cover this more fully next year. Venus, your love planet, is a fast-moving planet. In a given year she will move through every sector of your chart. Only the Moon and Mercury move faster than her. So, love, romantic and social opportunities can happen in many ways and through many people, depending on where Venus is at a given time and the aspects she receives. Also, it shows that you're a person whose needs in love change quickly. Those involved romantically with the Scorpio need to understand this. They are not being fickle. They are just responding to Venus's different moves. These short-term trends are best dealt with in the monthly reports. Your love planet will make one of her rare retrogrades this year. She does this once every 2 years. All the other planets that retrograde, with the exception of Mars, regularly retrograde every year, and Mercury goes backwards 4 times this year. So a Venus retrograde is a headline. She will be retrograde from March 4th to April 15th. This is a time for a romantic review. The romantic life will tend to slow down, relationships can seem to go backwards. None of this should be taken too seriously. It is a pause, a regrouping, a space where clarity can be attained. Don't make important love decisions during that period. Venus will spend a lot of time in Aries this year, over 3 months, triple her usual time in a sign. Thus there are love opportunities at the workplace, with co-workers or with people involved in your health. Your 11th house of friendships seems happy. The Moon's North Node will be in this house until April 29th. This indicates excess. Perhaps your problem is too many friends. But this is a good problem to have. Self-improvement. Your 12th house of spirituality is strong this year, as we mentioned above. This is a year for much internal growth. Great things are happening to you internally, but it's not yet visible to the world. These changes will start to be visible after October 11th and well into next year. Those of you already on a spiritual path will make great progress this year. There will be many spiritual breakthroughs, and these are most joyous when they happen. Your spiritual abilities, ESP abilities, are greatly enhanced. The dream life becomes very active and often prophetic. Your dreams should be written down and studied, they are significant. Those of you not yet on a spiritual path, or who are just dabbling, a normal stage on the road, will perhaps embark on such a path this year. You will probably experience many strange coincidences, the spirit's way to call you closer. This year a spiritual practice is not a discipline where one sets the jaw like flint. It is fun and enjoyable, and profitable too. It is something you will look forward to. Scorpio is a warrior soul. The world is a dangerous place and only the strong and the smart survive. But in spiritual matters, this tendency must be laid aside. With Venus as your spiritual planet, love is the way. There is a need to develop the love nature. So, mantra chanting, singing, drumming and dancing are valid spiritual paths for you. Any practice that strengthens your love and devotion is good. Jupiter is your financial planet. His presence in your 12th house shows you're developing your financial intuition this year. You're making it a tool in your financial arsenal. But there's more to it than that. This is a year where you go deeper into the spiritual dimensions of wealth. There is Wall Street's perspective and there is the divine perspective, and they are radically different. Everyone yearns for financial freedom and independence. But in truth these things are impossible without the spiritual understanding of supply. Even the richest of worldly people are dependent on many things: the market, the economy, government decisions, etc., etc. But a person who understands the spiritual dimension is free of all of this. He or she relies only on the divine supply, nothing else matters. No matter what is going on at the job or in the worldly economy, the divine supply will happen, the need of the hour will always be met. Others might have larger portfolios than you, but how much you own is never the issue. The issue is only how much the divine has and he has it all. The laws of spiritual supply are not complex to understand, but they are usually difficult to put into practice. Some people manage it more easily than others. There is much human learning many subconscious fears and beliefs that must be overcome. And this is what takes time. Many of you already understand much about this. This is a year to go deeper into it. Read as much as you can on the subject, there is much literature out there if you look. Practice what you learn. The practice will bring results. Financial guidance will come to you in dreams and through astrologers, psychics, tarot readers, spiritual channels, gurus or guru-type figures this year. If you feel confused, see one of those people.